Blog Talk Radio.
To the 110 Nation Sports Show. I am your host, Mr. CJ Sports. Glad to be here on this hump day. Glad to be in the Carolina Sports Plus studio. And one more thing that I'm glad for. Glad that my co-host Mario is in here with me. Mario, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be talking sports on this Wednesday night.
Oh, yes, it has been a long overdue thing. I know we only missed, a week. It seemed like it was longer. I was trying to remember how many shows we've missed in the last week or two, but I went back through the messages. I said, I think we only missed 1 week, but it seems like forever.
Yeah.
I did reach out to Jay Spearman. He will be joining us because I didn't contact him till today with everything going on. But Jay Spearman will be joining us next Wednesday night. We'll talk some NBA, get caught up on the first couple of weeks of basketball. I might have to poke at him a little bit with the whole signal stealing Spygate going on in Michigan. That's taken a whole life of its own. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well tonight. Mario's been doing some big things, been on the radio, different festivals, a lot of things going on that you're in. Mario, let them know what you've got going on, what you've been doing, and where they can find you.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We've been having a great time, county to county doing fairs here and there. We just got done with our last big festival of the year at the Barbecue Festival in Lexington. It was an awesome time, plenty of people, great entertainment, and but you can catch us on Facebook and Instagram at Carolina Sports Plus. You can catch us online if you're trying to shop at carolinasportsplus.com. And we're currently working on our website and stocking it up, so that's always a good thing. Give us a couple of days, and it'll be stocked up. But, I'm ready to talk sports with you on this Wednesday. I missed you last week.
Missed you guys, too. I missed you, too. I was just talking because the wife, she said something. I forget what she said. She goes, what's wrong with him? I said, nothing wrong. I'm getting ready to talk sports. Get to be on the show with Mario. So I was glad to be back here. I do apologize for last week. As I got off work late last Wednesday night. That's the only message I saw of that. So I was trying to determine how many shows we missed, and it was late when I got off. Then I had to be back in at 2 o'clock Thursday morning because I had to get everything done before I went to the viewing. Today we had the actual funeral. It's crazy to me that they have a body lay around for a week before they actually get around to burying people, but had that today. So glad we are able to move forward with everything and be able to start focusing on the holidays and kind of celebrating the rest of the year in the family-wise, but then get to sit here and talk sports and enjoy what we're about to see with college basketball right around the corner. We got the NBA about 2 weeks in. NFL season, we just completed, week 8 of the NFL. Baseball, we're, Game 5 of the World Series tonight. NASCAR has got their championship race this weekend. NHL's a couple weeks in as well. A lot of things going on, a lot of things to talk about in college football. We got some things in there to talk about as well. Before we jump into all that, don't forget you guys can check us out at the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network.com. Has our blogs, our videos, our shows, our schedules, It also has all the links to all the different platforms that our shows get syndicated to, if it be iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon. The list goes on for a mile. Make sure you guys check that out. Don't forget, Monday nights you guys can catch the 110 Nation Race Chat live exclusive. I'm not sure how many more episodes we're doing for this season because we interview a bunch of race car drivers. So the racing season's coming to an end. So we might only have a week or two left in this season. We'll pick back up in January. Tuesday night, normally Tuesday night Race Chat live. This week will be a Sunday night episode because they will follow the championship races, how they finish their season off every year. And then they will have an 8-week break. I think it's 8 weeks before the things pick back up in Daytona. And they will kick off their season. I think it's the last week of January. Of course, you got us on Wednesday nights. And then Jared Hudson with Safety to Success on Thursday nights. You guys make sure you guys check that out. And I lost Mario somehow in the middle of all that. I think maybe I was talking too much and he just left me. Anyway, I'll wait for him to call back in. I hope he noticed that he left me. I would assume that he knows. There he is. He's back. Couple headlines that weren't things I was really planning on talking about. Well, one of them we will talk about. GM, head coach, Raiders is gone, out.
Yeah.
The Raiders are going to rebuild. I did see right before I came on the air, legendary coach Bob Knight had passed. Was just watching different clips. The youngest, he had his soccer pizza party this evening, so we got done with the whole funeral thing. The family went to eat. We came back, got ready, and went to the pizza thing. The wife was sitting there watching video clips, I think it was ESPN, that they had on the TV, and watching him. Memphis throwing the chair across the basketball courts and all this different stuff. She made some comments. I was like, that was Bob Knight. Like, that's one of a kind. The undefeated 1976 season with the Hoosiers. I think it was like 6 years that he coached, I want to say Army, Navy, one of them. 29 years with Indiana. I didn't realize he went on to coach Texas Tech. I think it was 5 or 6, 7 years, something like that. Legendary. Great coach. We can talk a little bit about that. Also, I didn't realize until I was watching videos, I forgot what I watched. Colorado players getting their jewelry stolen at the UCLA game. It's kind of where I want to jump into, because this whole Deion Sanders, the Colorado thing, is and very intriguing thing. And I don't know if it's intriguing in different aspects of other people. Mario. I don't feel when because I watch a guy on YouTube. His name is Officer Tatum. It's a black man. He is a former police officer, and he does a show. I'm kind of a conservative guy, but he'll call out either side of the party. More of what his show is about, and he has a lot of respect for Deion Sanders. Feels Deion Sanders could be a great coach. He's not impressed with his son at the quarterback, which I don't know if anybody at this point really is. He's had a game or two out of the 7, 8 games that he was good. The rest of them kind of been mediocre. He's not really, wowed us with his numbers. And the team is not a very good team. The offensive line's really not blocking. You got players playing two-way because they don't have a bunch of players that are really any good. I think they came out and won a couple games. Everybody took into the hype. But anyway, that's not even what I want to get into. He ended up talking about this. How he found out about the jewelry being stolen out of the locker room at the UCLA game when Colorado played. I think Colorado ended up losing that game. One, they talked a little bit about a value. Something like, I think one of the chains was like $100,000 or something. Right? I forget what they were talking about. One, I was kind of clueless. Like, I'm not understanding. It's not like you're going out, and not that I'm saying that you need to go to a club and wear a $100,000 chain or all this blings, but it wasn't like you were going out. Like, you were getting off the bus to go into a locker room and change, and then you were going to play a football game, go back in the locker room, change, get back on the bus, and go home. I'm not understanding what the need to have all the flashiness. I understand you're playing for Deion Sanders, and obviously that's what comes with playing with Deion Sanders. You got to feel that you got to have the iced out watches, the gold chains, the bling this and the bling that. I don't feel that all this is necessary. Like I feel that one, you're kind of putting a target on your back. Not that it's right for people to steal. Don't take it. Well, hey, Mr. CJ Sports says it's their fault because they put targets on their back. No, I don't feel that stealing is right. There's a lot of things I don't feel are right. So I don't want it to be twisted that way. But why would you intentionally? I mean, in today's society, in the world we live in, we got like 3 wars going on right now. And you got colleges that are turned upside down with everything that's going on. And regardless if you like Jews or not, like it's a world, it's a whole weird real world situation. How I watch videos of Russians like tearing up their own airport, running out to the planes where they thought or there was Jews on, demanding them to get out. Like, it's crazy what world we live in. And those are just prime examples of headlines I've watched the last couple of days. Not like I'm just sucked into this Israel war or sucked into the Afghanistan war or it just what the headlines are, what's going on in this world. Why would you intentionally make yourself to be a target, knowing there's so much wrong, so much evil, so much bad going on in the world? Like, you're asking unnecessarily to be a target. Like I said, not that I feel that you should be a target. You should be able to wear what you want. Yeah. But you're going to a football game. It's not like you're going to a reunion or you're going to a dance or you're going to the club or even maybe going to the mall and wanting to impress people at the mall. You're going to play football. You're literally getting off a bus to go get changed, to go play football, to get changed, to get back on the bus and go back home. Like, I don't get it. Yeah. All right. I feel that we've watched them all season and I think we've discussed this, bring unnecessary attention to themselves after the games, holding the watches up, showboating in front of the fans. I'm not going to say, I don't know if you saw that hit that Deion Sanders. I saw it. I will say it was the. I could see that maybe you getting called for taunting after that hit. I don't necessarily agree with it being a targeting hit. No. But when you part of how you are judged is how you hold yourself in front of people, how you represent yourself. And so if you walk into this on this field and you hold yourself that you look like, you act like, that you're better than everybody else, that Deion Sanders is my coach, we're bling bling, we do what we want, we got rappers bringing us out on the field, you're kind of putting yourself out there to maybe not get the calls to, I don't know. I don't know how I want to work. Where are we at, Mario? Where are we at with this? All right, okay. I could, it's kind of like, I understand. I wouldn't say both sides of the fence, okay? But I understand where you're coming from, as far as the people, I wouldn't say people that think like that. Everybody thinks different. Everybody going to have their own opinions. But then at the same token, right, sometimes it does rub people the wrong way as far as how you come out, how you act, how you celebrate after a win, you know what I mean? All that does play a factor. But then at the same token, if I feel like I'm getting ready for a game to get me souped up and I got my headphones in and I got some jewelry that I want to wear to look in the mirror to figure out what I want to wear on the school bus to get on the plane to go to wherever stadium that I need to go to, I feel like that's my right. You know what I mean? Yes, I feel like, they do a lot. They do a lot by putting themselves out there just by the way that, since Deion got there, how he brought the whole social media, letting people involved in how he runs his program, to get views, to get followers, to get people looking. Once people start looking, they're going to keep looking. So you have to keep doing content. You're going to have to keep wearing the flashy things. You're going to always have to keep
the motivational videos up. You always gonna have to keep the sayings up. You know what I mean? But then at the same token, they got that right to do it. I just don't feel like, it's a bad thing to wear my own jewelry to wherever I want to go. You know what I mean? I'm not looking at it to get stolen. But like you said, they do carry themselves very outgoing, very cockiness. Where when people do cocky things and show flashy things like that happen to people like that. You know what I mean? That's just being realistic about it, the situation. You understand what I'm saying? If I know if I know you're going in a game and you just put $100,000 necklace in there, and I may be a student or know I can get into a locker room, some people can't say no to it. You know what I mean? But it does make them. It does put a target on their back by the way they carry themselves. But then at the same token, they have that right to wear their jewelry to the locker room or to whatever game. I'm not looking at it to get stolen, but
I would say I understand they got that right, but I mean, why? What's the
why? Some people are different.
I don't even feel there's that many NFL players that do that. Like,
not
the
I
whole
agree.
play. Some of them dress nice. Some of them dress kind of out there, and you got people like Myles Garrett that wears the Grim Reaper mask and, kind of dresses up for hot. But you don't see them iced out, blinging, and those are grown men. Like those are grown men that I'm sorry, but I guarantee whoever stole that stuff would have not gone into Myles Garrett's locker and thought twice.
No,
there's a difference between college boys and grown ass men.
I agree.
Not that I'm saying that any of this is right, and they shouldn't have the right, but why? Like, you listen to Deion talk about, this basically defending, the whole lifestyle, and I don't feel anybody's necessarily saying that the lifestyle is wrong.
Yeah.
I think most of us are just questioning why. Why is it necessary? Why do your players feel that they need to be iced out, blinging just to show up to change to play a game and then put themselves in a locker and everybody's leaving? So it's not like, I don't know.
I understand.
I wouldn't.
Look.
On that team, I would not. Yeah. The only way I'm doing it is if they are lockers that could be locked, and I lock my locker. Like, I don't even know if I would trust all my teammates, let alone going to someone else's stadium. And
I agree.
You might have a little bit more trust on an NFL team.
Yeah.
But on a college football team, I don't the same bond as there is, because college, they're come and go. Everybody's at a different level.
Yeah.
Some are freshmen, some are sophomores.
Yeah.
And so you got limited at time. The NFL, a lot of these guys play with each other for many years. And, at this point, you're more of a family and a career versus here to party at college, go play some football, ride a free ride, and hope to get drafted by the NFL. It's a little bit different to me.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I agree. I wouldn't wear it.
No. At these time of days, I don't even know if I would wear it even to a club or going out. Like,
no.
This is a different world we're living in now. Like I said, it don't make it right, and it sucks because I feel anybody should be able to, wear the jewelry they want to wear and everything else. To me personally, I think at times is a bit much. Like why you want $100,000 watch on your wrist is really beyond me.
Yeah.
A $20 Timex is going to tell the same time. Most people really don't care. I mean, some people do care about your watch, but most people don't care that you're. I've never, and we have this conversation at my job. One, I've never understood those that walk in with a whole wad of cash in their pocket. Because, one, all you're telling me is, A, you don't have a bank account. All you have is what's in your pocket. B, you're telling me that you're ignorant enough to put all your money in your pocket where when you walk outside because Joe Schmo saw it out of the corner of his eye, can pull a gun on you and take what money you do have. And the odds are, 3, you care about the wrong things. You're worried about the flashy things of life and maybe some rims on a car versus having a nice home and and having a 401k and preparing for your future, you're more worried about impressing somebody with a wad of money in your pocket that I have never seen anybody, and not to put, I'm not going to throw numbers out there, I've never seen anybody walking around with more money in their pocket than I have in my 401k, and I don't talk about it, I don't flash it, it's nobody's business. But all I can sit and think when somebody comes in, especially in Dayton, Ohio, oh, wow, you got a measly couple $1,000s in your pocket. I have enough in my 401k. If I want to go buy a house right now, I could pull it out of there and go buy a house and flip it and double what I got in my 401k if I really wanted to. So, like, you're not impressing me with a little bit of chump change in your pocket because I got more than that in my stock, my 401k, even my Circle K stock that it's not it's not public, so it's private. I have more in that account than I think I've ever seen anybody pull out of their pocket, and that's just a simple Circle K stock. So I've never understood that whole concept, and we talk about that at work all the time because you have those that think they're the ballers and come in there and it's like you're really not impressing nobody. Like you come in and you spend $10, but you pull out a whole lot of money. And you put $5 in your car to get 2 cigarillos or whatever. If you're really a baller, then why are you filling up that tank? Why are you only putting $5 in there, like, so you can stop at the next gas station 10 minutes over the road? Because I'm sorry, at $3 a gallon, you're not getting much gas. But anyway, college football did their playoff rankings. We got Ohio State number 1. We got Georgia number 2, Michigan number 3, Florida State number 4. I want to say it was Washington number 5, Oregon number 6. One, I thought it was interesting. I understand Ohio State has the better resume. We have beaten better teams. We beat Notre Dame. I'm still on the fence with that, even though Notre Dame has somewhat redeemed themselves after their loss to make maybe our win look a little bit better again. Ever since we've had that win, I've brought this up in many shows, that win. I don't know how well that win is going to hold up depending on Notre Dame, but also the Penn State win. We looked pretty good against Wisconsin. Our defense was looking good. As a matter of fact, I think we're high on the list, like top 5 in scoring defense. Our offense is not as good, but I'm always a firm believer that offenses win you games, defense wins you championships. So if this defense can continue doing what they're doing, we have a shot at it. But with that being said, I don't know that I feel that necessarily Ohio State is number 1 college football bowl rankings good. I think there's a couple teams that we could have this argument about, Michigan being one of those. They have had a very impressive season this year. To what extent is legit? Because I think as this whole signal stealing thing unravels, I think that I don't know what to think at this point. I've been very quiet about that. I even work with I have not poked fun at Jay Spearman about this yet. I have a guy that I actually work with. We actually do sport books, bets. We go back and forth on that. We've actually done pretty good this last week. He helped me win almost $300. Then I turned around and won almost another couple $100 on games this last weekend. Okay. Want him to include the Cleveland Browns game. I guess that was kind of upset the Browns lost. But I did need Geno Smith to have 23 more yards, so that game-winning drive actually put me over the yardage I need and win $130. So I know the Browns are not Super Bowl bound, so I will take a loss to win $130 for that yardage. But anyway, a lot of things being said about this whole Michigan thing, and it looks like it's just unraveling in front of our eyes. Different pictures of this guy being at different games. Talking about their record prior to when they thought this started. Jim Harbaugh was barely a 500 coach. Ever since they believe when this started, he's hardly lost a game. As a Buckeye fan, I try not to use that as a reason why we've lost the last 2 years after dominating them for so many years, like 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. But the back of my mind now, I start to wonder, did those wins have anything to do with the signal stealing? Is that a factor? Which have you kept up with this? If so, what's your thoughts on?
It's a tricky situation just because all these pictures keep coming out. You know what I mean? And it's really linking the pictures to Michigan. You know, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that this
Even
employee.
the Central Michigan versus Michigan game there, or Michigan
Yeah.
State has come out.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's pictures of people that works at Michigan. You know what I mean? In photos. You know what I mean? So that right there alone, you know, if you can't really say, you know, if he's acting on his own, you know, because all that stuff costs money. All that stuff costs money. That stuff right there, you have to really have a physical plan. You know, you have to plan out. You have to buy tickets. You got to tell people, you know, people have to know that you're going to a game. You understand what I'm saying? So it just makes them look bad. You know, I'm not saying Michigan is guilty just because, you know, on the low I do like Michigan. You know what I mean? But it just makes it look bad.
No, I don't know what you mean.
I need the whole story. I need the whole story before
I don't know what you mean at all. How can those words come out your mouth, Mario?
Yeah. I got to see the whole picture, but I got to see everything. I got to see all the evidence, but it just makes them look bad because the employee works for Michigan, and we all know that. But somebody got some explaining to do.
This is kind of why I have kind of not been very vocal about this, and not other than the fact that, yes, I would like to see more of the facts come out before. I mean, they pulled what was going to be, I think, the largest head coaching contract or whatever. Michigan's already pulled that. Now, a lot of people think that he'll probably still get offered an extension. I think that will depend on what else comes out, what actual proof can be proven before I think Michigan's going to lay down some kind of contract offer extension if they do. I feel it's probably going to take – so I don't know how much more damaging. Like if everything we've seen is true and maybe a little bit more, that might be it. I can't see Michigan saying, you know what, you've turned this program around. We're a winning program. Yes, this is a black guy, but we're going to extend your contract. But knowing that the reason the program has been quote-unquote turned around is because technically you've been cheating, so you've not really turned it around. You just kind of gave yourself an upper edge. I don't know.
Would you now?
But the big thing,
I don't see Michigan, to be honest. Unless it looks real bad, you got statements of coaches saying connected to him. You know what I mean? I don't see Michigan sitting there saying we're gonna let him go.
I think it all depends on how damaging the evidence gets to be.
Yeah.
If it's just what we've seen so far, then no. I don't think he's going to get the contract because it is a black guy, the contract they were going to give him. But I don't see him letting it go. But if, say, over the next rest of the season, because nobody thinks anything's going to happen the rest of the season. I think because the NCAA bylaws, they have like 90 days before they really got to do anything, Michigan that is, to respond or whatever. So basically this season is going to play out however it plays out. Which I listened to Joe Platt or whatever his name is. He has a podcast. He was on Colin Cowherd today. Talking about that was probably a good thing that it came out already. That way we at least know the previous 2 weeks and the rest of the season, the odds are there's no signal stealing going on because now he's under a spotlight. So we know or have a good idea that the rest of the season is probably going to be on the up and up because now he's under this microscope. So versus knowing at the end of the season. So knowing now, could be a very good thing.
Yeah.
The other thing about it is why I've not been very vocal about it, other than I don't want to, because this is the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry is I don't want to make it sound like it's the ultimate rivalry of all time, But I feel because football, for the most part, is a bigger sport than basketball.
Yes, it is.
It is a bigger rivalry than when we compare Duke to UNC. Now, I have lived in North Carolina. I have worked in Chapel Hill. I have worked in Durham. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's the closest you're going to get.
But I think there's a difference in the rivalry. And I think there's a difference in the class of people. You're talking basketball, and I'm not trying to put down to people in Chapel Hill, but you got a bunch of rich yuppie doctors and stuff, and same in Durham. Like, this rivalry is only so serious. There's a genuine hatred to each other, but I feel that the Ohio, Michigan, and the Detroit, Dayton, Cleveland, it's a little bit different. Like, it's serious. And it's football. It's physical. It's not basketball. And I'm not trying to say basketball is not physical, but there's a difference in this rivalry. Both sets hate each other. Like Durham and UNC being 10 miles apart. I want to say, is it even 10 miles? It is 10 miles apart, isn't it? Isn't that what it is? 10 miles apart from basically all three colleges, the NC State, the Triangle. The hatred between them is serious. But I think the Ohio State and Michigan, like, we don't even normally say Michigan. You refer to them as TTUN, the team up north. You put red X's through the M's. Like, you don't even use M's that entire week. Like, that's how serious this whole thing is.
Yeah.
I don't want to be part of that. Like, as much as my hatred is towards Michigan, I don't want to be that, oh, Michigan this and blah, 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 and cheat. Because at the end of the day, and this is where I kind of hold back my comments.
Yep,
at the end of the day, everybody does it. There is not a single team that is not out there trying to do the same thing. Just some get
pick
caught.
up an edge. Yep.
We've seen it where Bill Belichick was accused of Spygate. Atlanta got fined for putting fake crowd noise in the stadium to make it hard for the other team to hear. What the Saints did? What was that called? When Bounty Gate. So, and those are just ones we know. There's no doubt in my mind everybody is doing something to try to get the advantage. This is a very competitive sport. This is a very competitive world we're in. Everybody wants to win. Jobs depend on it. Contracts depend on it. Careers count on it. Hell, Josh McDaniels and the GM just got fired from Las Vegas because they were not competitive. Josh McDaniels has not even made 2 years in either one of his head coaching stints. This is a very competitive. Sports are very competitive. We've watched people get murdered. We've watched people get physically hurt. We've seen fans go. It's crazy. So I know, and that's why because soon as I jump on that bandwagon, soon as Jim Harbaugh cheat this, Jim Harbaugh cheat that. Tomorrow's news headline: Ryan Day had sent ball boy to blah 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 blah. That would be my luck. So I try to reframe, even once we get the actual news and things are confirmed, I will only be able to say so much because soon as you say something, you find out your team did it. Just like you would have never thought UNC would do anything wrong. Then what? Butch Davis was sending basically fake classes and everything else, and Butch Davis got run out of UNC for that. So it happens. So I try to watch. Yes, do I get a chuckle out of it? Yes. I don't like Jim Harbaugh. I didn't even care for him in San Francisco. It has nothing to do with him being a Michigan coach. And I've said this many times, and I will say this many times again. It's not even got so much to do with the 49ers or Jim Harbaugh. I am a Cleveland Brown. I am an Ohio State Buckeye. I am a Cleveland Cavalier. I don't like nobody else. Like, I'm not one that has multiple teams. That is it. If you don't play for my team no more, I don't care for you no more. When LeBron was gone and went to Miami, no longer liked LeBron. LeBron came back and played for Cavaliers. Okay, I like LeBron again. LeBron goes to Lakers. Okay, I don't like LeBron no more. I like the Cleveland Cavaliers. Nick Chubb might be the first person in a long time that if Nick Chubb was to go somewhere else, which I don't think Cleveland will ever allow that to happen because Nick Chubb is one of the best things that ever happened to the Cleveland Browns, just like Joe Thomas, and I think that they will do what they got to do to keep Nick Chubb. Might be the closest thing to a player that I might still pull for on another team.
Yeah.
But don't think I will get a chuckle out of this. And it will be curious to see what the day is. I know, just like if Coach K would have came out and he was. Hey, look, you might not say a lot because you guys sit there worry about Roy Williams and whoever your coach is now and what they may have done would have come out. But no, hey, did you see what Coach K did? Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
Guess what Duke's not doing next year? Ha, ha, ha. Kind of thing. But that's kind of, I've learned that, and I've been in enough cities and I've experienced enough in life to know that everybody's trying to get that edge somewhere. Some just get a little careless with it. Some of them just somebody gets to talking. It don't take much to get people talking and things get out, whatever the case. Or if you look hard enough, I promise you, for those that are listening, I promise you, if you had an opportunity to look at your favorite football team, Mario with UNC, me with Ohio State. Ohio State's a little bit different because Ohio State Stadium's like 100 and freaking million people. It's a little bit more crowded than UNC's stadium's going to be, and it's not a shot at UNC. We have a bigger stadium. It's the shoe. It's huge. It's like 105,000.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys barely get half of that in your guys' stadium. But at a normal stadium and a normal crowd, outside of your Michigan, outside of your Ohio State, it makes me wonder, some of the pictures I've seen are those Photoshopped. Like, you're going to tell me at the Wisconsin game you see everybody in red and white because both teams are the same color and you have one person in Michigan colors? Like, it just kind of weird to me. So that's why I'm hesitant on some of the stuff I say, because it just seems odd that one Michigan person that is at the game in Michigan colors, like, I couldn't imagine an Ohio State fan going to a Michigan game in Michigan, or even say they're playing Michigan State, and it be the only, and you're there to steal signals and be in your team colors. Like, that just, I don't know, it just makes me wonder about some of the pictures I've seen. That's another reason why I'm kind of hesitant on just saying, oh, yeah, they're doing it. But I promise you, if you had teams that don't have the stadium size, that you have your 50 or 60,000 max, and you had nothing to do with your life. This is what you did. You had nothing better to do with your day but to sit there and look through, get a sky view or different angles of all the fans. And this is what you did. Like, you are a conspiracy theorist, and you looked at the every fan every single week. I guarantee, if somebody had that type of time, you would probably find somebody in the stadium up shady businesses doing something for their college to try to get an advantage against your college. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
You would be highly delusional to think that Michigan is the only person or only college to send somebody into. I just think, like I said, the pictures, I just can't imagine. Hey, why don't you go steal signals and take pictures? And make sure you wear Michigan colors to make sure that they, like, you would blend in. I'm sorry, but that's why I'm hesitant. Like, if I'm going undercover and stealing signals or doing something, I would be wearing Ohio State colors or Wisconsin colors or whatever, or just no colors at all. I'm not wearing Go Blue all over me.
No, I saw a picture with the Central Michigan game, I believe.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that one. That one wasn't Michigan colors.
No, that's a totally different situation there.
Yeah.
Now, if you dress it up in Central Michigan hats, T-shirts, slacks, and everything, and you're on the sideline, that right there is that right there crazy right there.
Yeah. But to the college rankings, A lot of people are up on this Washington and Oregon thing, and I had this discussion with my employee, the one I do the sports book with. His name's Deontay. I'm not sold. One, I'm not sold on Bo Nix. You got a few people that are all sold on the Oregon quarterback, but I'm not sold on. I'm not sold on either one of those teams. And like I told him, my issue is they're playing like Pac-12 teams, and this is not a shot at the Pac-12, but they're not Big Ten teams. They're not SEC teams. They're not even the better teams of the ACC, or Clemson, or Florida State. And not to throw shade at UNC and Duke. They're having good seasons this year, but not traditionally. They don't normally have good seasons. Not in top 25, top 10 conversations. If Oregon was beaten up on Penn State, who's having a good year, or Ohio State, or Michigan, or Georgia, or Florida State, I would have a little bit more, okay, these teams are legitimate. But you're just beating teams out west that when was the last time we talked about any of these teams in a national title game? When outside of Clemson of the ACC, when have we really talked about anybody national title except for an SEC or Big Ten team? And so I'm supposed to be sold on Washington and Oregon as these serious threats that have really not beat nobody. Yes, it reminds me of the days of Boise State. It reminds me of the days of TCU that looked good when they beat up on the teams out there and went undefeated. And people, I don't understand why it's so hard to get them into bowl games. And as soon as they get into the national title games or the playoff system, and then they get the brakes beat off them because they play a legitimate contender, a Big Ten team or an SEC team or the better ACC teams. And we understand, that's why. That's why we don't hardly pick them. They've never really played nobody. That's how I feel about these two teams. And I know that it feels kind of salty and shady, but that's just how I feel about it. Do you see Washington and Oregon as being like serious, legitimate national title contenders?
No, the same way that you're thinking about the Pac-12 is the same way that I feel. You know, it looks good. It looks good. You know, you're putting up good numbers. You know what I mean? And you're doing great things, but it just shows when that weather turns a little bit, and you got to play running football. You got to get a little physical. You know what I mean? You're gonna be playing. You're gonna be. Football is just a little bit different, and the Pac-12 schools in Washington and Oregon, they can't relate to that. They can't relate to a long drive where you get punched in your mouth with a running back on first down, then third down. You know what I mean? Play action on first down. They're used to that, so you can't come out there and try to be the little fast team because they got bigger boys, they got stronger players, they play man to man. You're not gonna get off on them big bubble screens, or you're not gonna get off them deep routes.
I have sat here and listened to sports analysts like legitimately feel that Oregon should be the top team, even though, and I don't want to throw out the record because 7-1 and 8-0 is really that much of a difference, and we could have a 7-1 team right now that, I'm sorry, but if Michigan was 7-1, as long as their one loss was against like Penn State or Ohio State right now, I would put them still above Washington or put them even still above Florida State because I don't feel Florida State's really beat anybody that would solidify them over Michigan with a one loss, depending on who they lost to. But there's no doubt in my mind, if we had the national title game tomorrow and they had to play Ohio State, Michigan, or Georgia right now, there's no doubt in my mind that not only would those three teams beat Oregon, but they would show the whole entire world why there's a difference between the Pac-12 quality teams versus the Big Ten SEC quality teams. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. I don't even like Georgia. I don't like anybody SEC. Alabama's really ruined that for me. But I think Alabama probably could beat them. LSU could probably beat them. Georgia, no doubt, could beat them. But there's a different level. That just like, as much as I don't like UNC and Duke, there's not too many teams out there unless you go to Cameron Indoor Arena, or I don't know what UNC is. Many years I worked there, what their arena is called. But unless you go there and fit Dean Smith Arena.
Yeah,
Unless you go in there, even as a Buckeye fan, unless Ohio State went and beat one of those teams, I'm sorry, but you're not a legitimate contender for a national title. Like, that's kind of the teams for me in basketball and some of the SEC teams. Now your Indiana's certain years and your Wisconsin's, and Michigan's a couple of years are legitimate contenders, but I still hold Duke and UNC is kind of the bar. Now, if you're not at their level, even on a bad year, then you're not really legitimate contenders for a national title. Now, and I know it's a little bit different in basketball because the tournament kind of throws everything. That's just a whole different beast, and anybody can win. It's not the same as football. But I still, you know, I'm sorry, but if UD goes in there, and matter of fact, here's the COVID. That's all I hear. Was the first year I was back. OUD. It was the year they had Obi Toppin or whatever his name is, and Ohio State was like 25-2 or something. And people started talking about, well, UD could do this. UD ain't play nobody. You didn't beat nobody in the Big Ten. You ain't beat nobody in the SEC. You ain't beat nobody in the ACC. You beat a bunch of local. I don't even know the local conferences here. That's who you beat up on all year long. I'm sorry, there's no legit. And I had many arguments when I first moved back with people watching Dayton, like they beat nobody. Like, you guys have this delusional idea. Now, like I said, I know the tournament's different. But I'm sorry, if we would have made it all the way to the tournament, and I'm a Dayton fan. I've watched the Dayton girls play. As a matter of fact, I've watched the Dayton girls and the Dayton guys play. I have a phenomenal time there. But if we would have came down to the last game of this season, and it would have been Dayton versus UNC or Dayton versus Duke, yes, I would have cheered on Dayton. But I don't think we'd have a legitimate shot because that's the level of play. So,
not trying to be off topic. I got a question for you. You know, since you brought up the COVID year, I don't think we ever talked about it in all those situations. We may have, but you know, during COVID, how do you feel about the bubble ring that LeBron James won? You know, it don't gotta be long. You know, do you feel like it's an honest championship, or do you feel like there should be something by it, in your opinion?
No, I don't think there shouldn't be anything by it. I don't feel that there was no advantage. Like, it would be one thing if everybody had to be in this bubble except for the Lakers and they got to go home and do what they wanted to do and everything else. I feel that everybody was put into the same circumstance with the same play field. Nobody had an advantage. It sucked. And everybody lost players at different times due to COVID. And it was a whole different thing. But no, I don't think any less of that championship. Do you think anything less of that championship, or there should be anything next to it?
I do. I mean, just my personal opinion. You know, with the break they had, with starting back up, you know, nobody traveling. It's kind of like an AU.
But everybody got the same. Everybody got the same break and the same.
Boss, I totally understand. I'm just saying my personal opinion.
I know. I'm just trying to understand why it's different.
Yeah.
Why you feel different?
The way I feel,
because of that.
I just feel it's different. You know, with the non-traveling factor, the non-crowd, being off. You know, basketball starting back up. Couple months. You know, after the season stopped, you know, everybody's sitting, you know, Disney World together, you know, big AAU tournament. But it just, to me, that's just. I feel like, you know, I feel like I wouldn't say a true championship because they did win. You know what I mean? Not saying I'm like a big LeBron hater or anything like that. No. I'm not a LeBron James fan. I respect what he does
I'm not a fan
on the
either.
court because he's been doing it a long time. But it just I don't know.
A fan of LeBron, I'm not.
Okay.
I have the utmost respect for him in the aspect of the fact that he has been a loyal man, great with his children. He has done so much for the community, the world. I don't like his politics. I don't like how he conducts different things. I'm not a fan of that. I understand that you have your good and bad with everything. So I understand that there are bad racist people in every aspect of the world, to unfortunately include police. But I'm not one that I say all police are bad. And I've lost friends for that.
No.
Because I don't feel every cop is a bad cop.
No. My dad, you know, not when my dad was in the military, my dad was a MP, a policeman, you know what I mean, CID. You know, I even got, ran into trouble with him, you know what I mean? And he was my dad, but I couldn't, the police factor, I do have a lot of respect for what they do. Same thing with the military, I came from the military. So of course the flag does mean a lot to me, because I remember writing my dad months and months at a time when he was in Panama or overseas, you know what I mean? So I know the struggle, that part. But, the police factor, I done gave police a long run before, and good things, happen. I'm still here, It's just a situation, how things happen, and the people you run into.
Now, funny thing about CID, and I'll get sidetracked, and I'll get back to the LeBron thing. Actually, while I was stationed at Fort Bragg, the one I came back from overseas, I ended up getting a second job. And I didn't know this for a while, and I ended up becoming friends with one of the MPs that was CID. And I did not know this. Nobody knew this for the longest time, but actually CID was watching me, because they didn't believe that I actually had a second job at Brooklyn Pizzeria. That's where I started at with the whole Brooklyn Pizzeria thing, was the one in Spring Lake. Yeah. But they were actually watching me. They thought I was running drugs, and the Brooklyn delivery thing was just a front so I could run drugs. Found out later on that I was actually being watched, because that's what they thought I was doing. But anyway. So I have a lot of respect for LeBron James. I just don't like some of the things. But what he has done with his family, the community, the schools, everything else, I give him a lot of respect. But when it comes to that championship, trust me, I don't want to count any championships outside of the Cleveland Cavaliers championship. But when you talk about the break, that just lets me know that the Lakers did a better job of staying conditioned during that break. Yeah. When you talk about the conditions in the bubble, that just means that they adapted to a circumstance that nobody could control better than everybody else. They came together better than everybody else. They played at a level that was unprecedented. No fans, no travel, whatever reasons we want to throw out there. And I'm not saying this to change your mind or anything. This is just my perspective of why I don't think there should be anything in it. I actually kind of applaud what they did, because at that point in time, when was that Rudy Gobert was the first NBA player to come down with COVID, and that's when things started to tumble. That's when they started canceling the tournament. That's when the UD people got upset because the tournament got canceled. It was right before the tournament. That's when things started to unravel and things became, I'm going to use quotes, serious when it comes to the COVID. I'm one of those that I believe the numbers are skewed. I believe that most of your people that died with COVID, that's what it was. They died with COVID. They had underlying health conditions or other things. Hospitals were getting all this money to chalk it up as just COVID, so I think the numbers were skewed. I think that, yes, the sick, the unhealthy, or the elderly or children, yes, were at more risk. But I think for the most part, those that didn't have underlying, and there's people, this person went to the gym all the time, or this person, you don't know all their health conditions. You yourself don't always know your own health conditions. How my wife didn't know that what the doctor called two like alien monsters growing inside her was that serious until she had everything taken out of her back in whatever that was this year or last year, whatever it was. So you don't even know yourself necessarily all the conditions. But that was kind of when Rudy Gobert came down with COVID. That's when everything kind of the world just kind of, at that point, everything just started shutting down. That was it. And to see this team be able to stay in condition and overcome what a lot of people feared, this was going to wipe out the world. Like, this is just, it was weird. It was a weird time we were living in. Like, you still got people walking down the sidewalk in masks. And, I try not to knock people wearing masks. It's to each his own. I think personally it kills your immune system, and I think that's why I have hardly ever get sick, and even since then I've hardly ever sick, because I try not to wear that mask and wore it as little as I could because I don't feel that was good for our immune system. But I still see people walking down the sidewalk, which to me, I never understood people driving in their car by themselves or walking down the sidewalk by themselves while they had a mask on. There's nobody around you. Like, what are you scared of catching by yourself? But anyway.
Yeah.
To be able to put that all behind you and be able to overcome this, I mean, people were scared. I watched video of people throwing themselves off of buildings, like, and I don't know why YouTube even allowed some of these videos on there, but I literally watched people jump off water towers and out of buildings and everything else. Like, I would cut it off once I realized I didn't actually see them hit the ground. Like, I stopped the video. I was like, what? YouTube is allowing this stuff? But anyway. We were living in very extreme times, and at that time, it was weird. And for some people, it was extremely scary. But all those players, I have a lot of respect for all those players that were willing to, look, we're going to go here. We're all going to be together. We're going to follow these guidelines. We're going to stay safe, and we're going to put on the best performance we can. And to do that and not be able to have the fans, momentum changes. Like, I have been at, one of the most exciting games I've ever been to. We ended up losing. It was a Columbus Blue Jackets game. It was the only NHL game I got to go to. And we thought we scored at the end of the game, and this place erupted. Like, the whole place was crazy. Then you watch replay and realize they didn't score, and then the other team turned around and scored 2 seconds later, and we lost. But the momentum to have the home, you've been UNC games, you know what it's like. And the craziness and loud and how that changes the momentum. And watch these players do it without all that. Yeah. Like, I have a lot of respect for all of them, and so I can't invalid anything that was accomplished because they did, one, they put their health on the line. Regardless how safe you were, even going to work, like people in masks and having to take their temperatures, it seems like every time you turn around, someone else caught it. I was fortunate. I was never one of those that actually caught it. But to be willing to put your health at risk, not knowing really the outcome, because this was all still kind of new, and go out there and win a championship. I understand there's a lot of people that are on the same side of the fence as you, and I don't knock it because it's not the same, but I can't knock it because, I have a lot of respect for all of them that did what they did, not knowing the end game, just because I didn't necessarily believe that it was as severe as people made it and it was a lot of agenda to it. Doesn't mean that I was right and we all could have died 2 weeks later because it just wiped us out. You don't know. So, I don't know. Anyway, like I said, Bob Knight, 83 years old, passed away. I'm not sure exactly what he passed away of. I just know they talk about breaking news, 3 national titles, the undefeated 76 season. I want to say 902 wins, or at least 902 wins was the mark at Indiana. I don't remember if there was more than that. Character. Was interesting to watch, being a Buckeye, and, of course, Indiana being the Big Ten, never liked them. But then again, it didn't matter which team you played for, unless you were a Buckeye coach, it didn't like you anyway. But was definitely entertaining to watch. Any thoughts on Bob Knight?
Yeah, it's definitely a legendary coach. All the videos he saw, all the wins he had, all the lessons as far as his teaching style of life and basketball. Some people called him outrageous. Some people called him tough. everybody has their own opinions of how a coach should coach, but he was definitely a coach that
did his own thing.
Did his own thing. So he would definitely be missed, but he would definitely also know he left a good stamp on college basketball and the overall coaching atmosphere.
We're sitting there, like I said, we was at a pizza party at the Sun, first season of soccer. We'll say I was very impressed. Youngest went from being afraid of his own shadow to, by the end of the season, was playing goalie and was a good goalie. His first game, I think he had 4 or 5 goalie shots. I think the last one, the one he finally missed, but his first goalie shot against him, he stopped it. And he won most of that game without, like I said, it went to the very end. At that point, the defense was kind of giving up and everything, and everybody was kind of down at that point because the game kind of got out of control. The offense just wasn't scoring. Not that the score got out of control, but the effort wasn't there no more. But the wife's watching the clips on ESPN. Her only thought was, if this was today's time, that coach would have been sued.
Oh, yeah. He would have been sued, fired.
Head bunted a player, grabbed a player, pushed a player. He didn't play. There was a certain expectation. You played to that expectation, or there was consequences. I don't know. It was entertaining. It was just funny to me. That was just like I spoke to somebody today. It was actually my brother-in-law's husband. He had joined the Army. He ended up getting discharged, whatever, for some medical reason. And so today was the first day I actually see him. He just got back. He actually missed the viewing, but he was here for the actual funeral. It was a whole to-do to get him back because he was being medically discharged. And he comes up to me, and he's just like, did you know that blah, 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 blah. And if you did this, then you had to eat this. And I was like, you do realize I did all this already. I've experienced the same thing. And so the only difference between me and you is I was 18 years old, just out of high school, basically just got off my mom's tit and was new to the world. I said, you're 30-something years old and have experienced life and have had a chance to grow up in, kind of different place in your life versus I was. When you're 18 versus 33, you have a different view. You're more confident. You're not scared of everybody. You're just in a different place. I was like, but I'm sitting there thinking, you do realize that I did all this, and I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've done all this. So it was an interesting conversation today. Do we got any other topics that we need to jump into before we get our picks? I think it was a go. I do, before we get into the actual picks. It was probably a good thing that last week we didn't do picks. The last couple of weeks have not been good weeks for us. So the week before that, we both went 5-8. So this week might not have been a great week either. My Browns lost, but like I said earlier, I'm not too upset with it, especially since we're still on a third-string quarterback, don't have our starting running back, and I won $130 because Geno Smith got the yardage I need. My Browns.
I got one question. For you.
Yeah.
I got one more question. Do you think you think Watson's really just laying low and just getting money and just is like coasting? Do you think he's a player? If
it wouldn't be for I feel that Adam Schefter is a pretty good, reliable source. And the fact that he's reported that there are underlying issues with the injury, I tend to believe that there's something there. I think there are some players that would play through it. And then I think there's Deshaun Watson that maybe it might not even be his decision. He might be just catching the blame for it. This might be upper coaching decisions. I don't know. But either way, he's not playing through it. Now, that's not saying that it's because he's weaker than other players. Those underlying injuries, it might be one of those things where either you take a little bit more time to rest and not play through it, and be able to continue playing a career, or you can take the chance, but if you do this or that, this could be the end of your career situation. So
yeah, I could feel that. I could feel that just because I remember when Cam Newton took that big hit against Pittsburgh. You know, that deep ball was gone after this. You know what I mean? That accuracy, it was already bad, but it got way worse. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He was all right. But after that Pittsburgh, you know, after that Super Bowl loss and that following year, in that Pittsburgh game, and he took that hit on that shoulder, it's been a wrap since then. A whole franchise changed ever since that hit.
When it comes to injuries, it's especially when your career or life depends on it. Granted, it's a little bit easy for him because the money's guaranteed. So, regardless if he ever plays again or not, he's paid.
Yeah.
When it comes to injuries, it's a funny thing. And when I lived in North Carolina and I was going to the Gold's Gym on Skylow Road, I remember being at the gym. And I remember it was a back routine. And I remember I got on the low row machine, and I remember something didn't feel right in my back. But I thought maybe I just moved the wrong way. That was it. Finished my routine, and my back got worse and worse. It got to a point that I had basically a walking cane. I could walk, though. I spent all day, and not to get too public with all my information, but I spent all day, because where I worked at that point in time, I was allowed to drink. As long as I kept it in the cup and didn't get drunk, they didn't care. So I spent all day drinking, trying to keep my back from hurting. I had smoked all day long. I had people give me morphine patches, and I had perks. And yet I could still barely move. Like, I had to have people get dough out of the things. Some people helped me stretch. I couldn't get pizzas out the oven. I could barely move, but I could still make a pizza better than anybody else that was working, so I had to make the pizzas. That point forward, I've always kind of been very hesitant about back routines or my back.
Yeah.
Fast forward, you're talking 20-something years to, I want to say it was 2 years ago. I'm at work, and I went to get off the toilet from doing a number 2, and something didn't feel right when I lifted up, but I continued on. I had an audit the next day. I went and did and reorganized and straightened up 2 whole freezers. Went home. It's like, you know what? My back hurts. I'm tired. I'm going to lay down and take a nap. I woke up 30 minutes, an hour later, whatever it was. I could not move at all. I literally was stuck in my bed for the next 5 days. Could not move. I had to lay. I had to roll to the side of the bed and piss in a water bottle. After about 5 days, I started getting paranoid. I'm like, you know, I'm on the second floor. What happens if the house catches on fire? What happens if I get to a point that I got to do number 2 again? I can't get to the toilet. And at that point, things started to play in my mind to the point, I don't know if we ever had this conversation, but I literally had to crawl off. I had to roll off, slide off the side of the bed. I had to low crawl down my hallway to my stairs. I had to crawl down a flight of stairs. Got to the bottom of the stairs, and my brother and my wife had to help me get up and basically hold me in a way that it didn't hurt enough that I could get to the car so we get down to the VA. All that being said, even to this day, I'm still hesitant about back stuff. With that being said, I don't know the severity of his injury. Being somebody that has had injuries and know the severity it could get to, I've never in the past been one for the sympathy of it. And I don't want to believe that, okay, he's got this $240 million he's done, because he could have done without the $240. Houston paid him enough. He didn't have to have this contract. So part of me, because of the Adam Schefter report coming out and, you know, him tweeting out and talking about the injuries, part of me wants to side with the fact that, okay, maybe it's a precautious thing. Maybe, he knows he's still not in physical shape. He knows that watching in the first couple of games, the accuracy still wasn't there. If he's going out there playing like crap because he's not 100%, and the criticism is only going to get worse. Oh, look, he still looks like crap. He's still not, So it really, at this point, to me, doesn't make a difference if he plays or not because he's going to get criticized either way. Actually, what pisses me off more is the fact that it is obvious that the Cleveland Browns had no backup plan at all. You're talking about DTR, who was, because I don't know his real name, and they called him DTR, so that's all I know him by. With a fifth-round pick, this is his rookie season, looked like trash. And then you had P.J. Walker, which I'm not going to say looks like trash. He was able to win a couple of games, but none of his performances have been worthwhile to watch. Knowing that we had Josh Dobbs, which I'm surprised Arizona just traded him off. I forget where he just went to, but he got traded. And we had Jacoby Brissett, which I'd never understood. Okay. Oh, yeah, because of Kirk Cousins. And we had Jacoby Brissett, which I didn't understand because I don't think Brissett had any issue being a backup quarterback there because it's not like he went off to be a starting quarterback somewhere else because he overwhelmed everybody. Why we didn't pay him to keep him as a backup quarterback because everybody loved Jacoby Brissett, and he was a good quarterback. He was a good, he was a good, solid backup. I don't think long-term he's a starter. He could start games and get you wins, but as a career starter, that's just not him.
Yeah,
that's the part that pisses me off more than anything was Cleveland didn't have a backup plan in case Watson got hurt. Granted, Watson hardly ever got hurt in the past, but he's gotten older. Things happen. You never know. So that actually is what pisses me off more than anything is that the fact that there was no backup plan other than Kevin Stefanski's play calling because there's no reason we should have lost that game. There's no reason that we didn't run the ball with Kareem Hunt and even Ford, who was having a good game, didn't run on that 3rd and 3 to get a first down versus pass it, and we stopped the clock and have to punt the ball away. There's many things that actually pisses me off more or I'm more aggravated or upset about versus the whole Deshaun Watson and whether or not he should be playing. And all of these Cleveland fans that are so pissed off and you don't know his condition. Like, I had a conversation the other day, and then we'll get into these. I'm going to get your opinion on it, and we'll get in our picks. And I was talking to this dude, and I said something, and I was like, I ain't saying that to my wife or whatever. She punched me, whatever. Oh, it only hurt for a little while. I said, you do realize I'm at a point in my life that I can barely get out of my bed without something hurting. None alone, taking a punch at 40-something years old, even from my wife. Like, what mine should have only hurt for a couple hours, mine hurt for a couple of days at this point. I don't know. And then he did respond, well, hell, I can't even roll over in bed without things hurting. I said, exactly. Like, we all get older. Things happen, especially when you're an NFL player and you take the abuse that you take on a daily basis. It catches up with you. Like I said, I'm more pissed off that Cleveland was unprepared in case something happened. Like you should have had a solid backup quarterback. Knowing, and also the other part that pisses me off is with the play he got hurt on, there was no reason to hit. He was taking that hit, run the ball, or really probably even necessary playing at that point. We had that game secured at that point. It was late in the game. We were up. Your thoughts on the Watson thing?
I feel he could feel that way. Just by the team doctors, two separate doctors saying he could play, and then him not playing for injury he could play for. But like I said, I remember when Cam took that hit, so I can understand how that shoulder could be a little bit different. It was just a little question, but I feel the same way as you. I give him the benefit of the doubt.
Talk about the Carolina Panthers.
Oh man,
finally win one.
Even that.
Somebody y'all's.
No, I'm gonna say Houston. It felt good to get a win, just like everybody wants to win. You know what I mean? That's just whatever team you cheer for, you want to win. But then at the same token, playing the the quarterback that we could have had, you know what I mean, head to head, you know, with the things that he was doing in Houston before he played us, as far as, you know, the strides that he's taken, the no interceptions, you know what I mean. It did feel good winning, but it did feel good beating him, you know, as far as a Carolina fan. You know what I mean? Just as far as that head-to-head competition, how he did lead, you know, the final drive, at least to get a field goal, you know, because Bryce Young did have a drive that he put together to get in field goal range, you know what I mean? So we're not going to take that against him, but it does feel good to win.
Does that change your opinion at all about Bryce Young, or do you think that Carolina should look at other things?
No. I wouldn't say look at other things. He's our quarterback now. You know what I mean? You know, let the quarterback develop, let the team develop. You know, there's nothing that we can do. You know what I mean? There's nothing we can do. If during this draft, I'm not sitting there saying pick a quarterback in the first round, or we don't even have a first round, or second round, or third round. No, I'm not saying that. He's our quarterback for now. This is who we got. This is who was on our team. This is what we got to work with.
All right. We got some picks to do.
All right.
Hold on up. All starting. All right. I'm sorry. I had to check my sports book, see how we looking. We got a couple tickets in today. Both games are early. All the games are early. They're on the first. That's just in the second quarter, halftime. So we're doing good. One's payout $700. One's a payout of $25. We'll see what happens. Let's get through these picks. We got Thursday night. A lot of people upset. I forget which game they're upset about. Are they upset about the no, it's not the Sunday night game. It must be the Thursday night game. I think they're upset that they didn't flex the Thursday night game. I know they're upset about one of the games. I think it's the Thursday night game. Because I don't think anybody really cares about Tennessee and Pittsburgh. You could have put Miami. You could have flexed the Miami-Kansas City game in there. It might not have been that game. I forget. I know I saw something. But Thursday night we got Tennessee at Pittsburgh. I don't know. Tennessee has not looked good recently. Cleveland's beating them. Cincinnati's beating them. I don't see any reason why Pittsburgh at home couldn't beat them. I'm going to take the Steelers.
All right. Okay. That's a good one. You know, I don't know if you watched football last week, or did you watch what Levis did as far as his first starting gig with 4 interceptions, with 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't see it, but I saw the highlights of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it honest though. I'm gonna go ahead. No, you gotta wait because Pittsburgh is starting Trubisky, and I'm gonna go Tennessee. I'm gonna go ahead and go Tennessee. I'm gonna go Tennessee so I can try to get one more game up on you. I'll go Tennessee.
And for I don't think I said this yet. We were 5-5 and 8-5. For those who don't remember, Mario was up one game on me, and going into not this last week, the week before, because we did a show last week and we didn't. Everything going on, I didn't reach out. So Mario's record is 59-47. I am one game behind him at a 58-48. You are first on this one, which I'm kind of glad you're first on this one.
Yeah.
We got Miami at Kansas City.
There you go.
The only thing that cost me in last week's sports book was Kelsey didn't show up. No touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't think Mahomes threw a touchdown. I think those were the two things I didn't get on my whole ticket on that whole parlay, which kind of aggravated me. But Kansas City against Denver did not show up at all. I'm not a big fan of, I forget who it was that tried to throw Kelsey underneath the bus, talking about shouldn't have went to the World Series game on Friday night when he had a game on Sunday.
No.
I agree with people being upset. I know you don't keep up with NASCAR necessarily as much, but people like myself was not thrilled that Chase Elliott during the race season, with snowboarding or skiing, one of the two, hurt himself. He missed some races. If he was talking about what he should be, he was like, well, people should have a life. I understand that, but you have certain responsibilities, not allegations, but certain responsibilities and things that you need to do or not do during the race season. Now, first of all, racing finishes last weekend, so early to mid-November, and don't go back until January. Why couldn't you wait and go skiing or snowboarding in the cold months when you're off season versus going when the racing season is going on? It's beyond me. But I'm a little bit different when it comes to that. You have responsibilities and obligations. That's the word I was looking for. Snowboarding is not one of them. So you to get injured because you were out snowboarding is not a good excuse to me. But going to a World Series game on a Friday night, you don't play till Sunday, and it's not like you got injured or couldn't play because of an injury. It's completely different. So I don't like the fact that anybody threw anything about, because who knows what everybody else did on a Friday night. Like, just because it was public where he was at, because pretty much everything right now is Kelsey is public, especially since him and Taylor Swift are thing, and especially since this Era Tour, she's supposed to make like $4.2 billion off this one tour alone. Like, it's just insane. I know Kelsey don't need the money, but I tell you what, I will take me some Taylor Swift knowing she's worth $4.2 billion too. But she seems like a genuine good person, and there's never been one bad thing about her other than her songs and her breakups. I think people are just starting to hear it up. I actually had a Kansas City fan in my store on Sunday, and I asked him, I was like, so this whole Kelsey Swift thing, you tired of hearing it? And he's like, it don't really bother me. I said, I think it's, it's two good people dating. I think people make a bigger deal about it. I said I think it's funny. I think it's entertaining. It's good to see two people that seem to be genuinely good people, never really done anything wrong, get together. I was like, I think people making such a big deal about it. It is what it is. Like, why are people not happy? And
Well, you see, I know you've seen as far as the stats. When she's there and when she's not there, right?
Yeah, I think that's just coincidental, though.
Well, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no way you're gonna tell me just because your girlfriend is in the booth that makes you play better. This dude's already a two-time Super Bowl.
I'm not saying.
Stats would insinuate that.
Yeah, you're right. I would just that. I mean, that's what.
Two-time Super Bowl champion. I think he's an MVP somewhere on something there. Like one of the best tight ends, if not ever, in the league right now. Could possibly be greatest tight end of all time. I'm sorry, but her up to the booth. To me, a just entertaining person. I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan. I like some of her songs. I don't dislike her. I actually like him a little bit more with her just because I think it's entertaining. And actually, and also it's got to do with him and his brother and their podcast. I don't know if you ever caught their podcast, but they are very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, very entertaining. Very entertaining.
Yeah. So I find it. I don't have an issue with it. These people that have these meltdowns because of Taylor Swift or the meltdowns because people talk about Taylor Swift and Kelsey is actually entertaining to me, and I find it to be hilarious. I don't have a problem with any of it. But the people keeping up with the stats, I think that's hysterical because there's no way you're going to convince me that this man plays better just because his girlfriend's up in the studio or in the booth. I think it's got to do with just so happen the home games and who they're playing, and the matchups, and it's also got to do with Patrick Mahomes because it's not like Kelsey's throwing the ball to himself, so it also has got to rely on pass rush and his accuracy and everything else. Like there's things that play into this. But yes, I have. Yeah. So I've kept up with it. I find it entertaining. But you get to go first. Both of these teams are playing at great levels, and I don't know.
You know, one thing, you know, Miami has lost 2 games, and both games were against top competitors. You know what I mean? They have to win one of these games when they're playing big teams. You understand what I'm saying? They have to. I think this would be the perfect game to win. They're all in Frankfurt, and I think as long as you stop Kelsey and just double team him, you know, as soon as the ball gets hiked, and let Patrick Mahomes figure out which receiver's going to drop the ball or which receiver he feels like more comfortable throwing to, I'm going that route, and I'm going Miami.
My opportunity to catch up.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't say that they got to beat a legitimate team.
Yeah, they do.
I think that's
they really do.
One of the marks on Miami.
That's what,
the other thing is, a couple things. The second thing is Kansas City at home. Obviously, I would assume that Taylor Swift's going to be in that suite, and we all know the stats. We all know what happens. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
But after the criticism, one, you lost to Denver, one of the worst teams in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
But also, I know Kelsey has heard the headlines. I know he has heard the criticism. There is no doubt when he comes out this weekend, he's going to be a man on a mission to, hey, look, y'all want to talk all this crap about me in a World Series game? I got you. I'm going to put up 100 yards on y'all. I think that Kelsey comes out and has a great game. I think Kansas City, actually, I don't think it's their home because it's a 9:30 game. So are they in London?
They're Frankfurt. Frankfurt, Germany. I was there.
So it's not even a home. Yeah, it's not an actual home game, but I think Kelsey comes out on the big stage. It's a standalone game. But I got something for y'all. Y'all want to talk all that mess about me in the World Series? I'll show you a little something. I think Kansas City comes out. I think Kansas City makes a statement. I'm not saying that Kansas City's going to come out and blow out Miami, but they're going to come out and show us that they're the Kansas City Chiefs, not the team that just lost to the Denver Broncos, not the Travis Kelce that played like crap and didn't catch a touchdown, but the defending Super Bowl champ, Kansas City Chiefs. That's what I expect to see. I'm going to take Kansas City. Minnesota travels to Atlanta. Obviously, with Kirk Cousins done for the season, they got Josh Dobbs. He'll be making his start this weekend against Atlanta. Atlanta's benched their quarterback last week. So we got 2 different quarterbacks than when we started the season with on 2 teams. I think Atlanta's playing to the expectation that we thought, especially with the rookie quarterback, but I think Minnesota is not playing to the expectations that we thought. This is actually tougher than I thought it was going to be, especially knowing that we don't have starting quarterbacks playing. It's tough. I don't know. This trade just happened, today or yesterday? So Josh Dobbs is not going to have a lot of time to know this playbook. I don't know their backup situation prior to that, but I'm be willing to bet if they would.
Quarterback for BYU.
Let's say if they're willing to go get Josh Dobbs, that means that and Josh Dobbs is not this tier quarterback. Like, you're kind of putting a Band-Aid on a bad situation, not to knock at Josh Dobbs, but it's no, legitimate backup quarterback situation or a starting quarterback situation. It's not like you went out and got C.J. Stroud. You went out, you want to. I'm just throwing out names. So obviously they feel that Josh Dobbs is a better situation that they got, which Josh Dobbs is really, I don't feel, a starting quarterback in any NFL team right now. I'm going to go with Atlanta. I feel Atlanta at home might have a better situation and a better, at least, control of their playbook versus whatever they're going to start at Minnesota, if it be the rookie quarterback or Dobbs. I'm going to go with Atlanta.
No, usually, I'm not real big on Atlanta. Of course, but just the situations and trying to pick the right games. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna ride with you.
Next one on this list, and this game shouldn't be as hard as it might be to pick for me, is the Arizona Cardinals in Cleveland against the Browns. You're first.
Oh. With Dobbs gone, that what Kyler Murray gonna play, right? Did you? Oh,
I'm pulling up the
man.
preview to see if it shows who's starting.
Oh, is Watson playing? Do you know? Do you know yet?
Kyle Murray is he's on the PUP, so Kyle Murray can't be playing. If you're on the PUP list, you can't play for a certain amount of time. He's still on the PUP list as of today.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, I didn't know that. I know he practiced last week. I know he practiced full practice last week. But
well, it says day 11-1, and it says Kyle Murray PUP R knee. So I'm assuming that means he's on the PUP reserve. That means he can't play as far as I know of.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ride with Cleveland. I'm gonna go ahead and ride.
Now it doesn't say on Cleveland's side. It doesn't say on Cleveland's side about the quarterback situations. I don't know if that means Deshaun Watson's coming back or not for this game. Let's go view all injuries and see what this says. Give you a better idea. Good Lord. He's questionable. The Cleveland side of the list is forever long. Mike Ford, Grant Delpit, Taki Smith, Zadarius Smith. I hope he's only questionable. I hope he plays. That's a big part of that defense. David Bell, Alex Wright, Jerome Ford, DeJuan Johnson, Njoku, Anthony Walker, Deshaun Watson, Greg Newsome. Questionable. All are questionable. So we'll see what happens. That's a lot of players. Either way, I'm going with Cleveland. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we have the number one defense. So we got that to fall on. I'm not big on the fact that Anthony Walker, which is not a big deal, but the Greg Newsome potentially not playing. Great cornerback, and then of course Zadarius Smith, the defensive end, the other side of the ball from Myles Garrett, that helps make things happen both sides of the ball or both sides of the line. Excuse me, for the Cleveland Browns, I'm not a big fan of, but I don't view Arizona as a real threat to anybody other than the Dallas Cowboys and who they beat. I think that if it be P.J. Walker, he can game manage enough to get us through this game. I don't think Arizona is that serious of a contender that P.J. Walker couldn't game manage us through it. It'd be a great game, in my opinion, for Deshaun Watson to come back, a game that's got a little less of a threat, in my opinion. I get a chance to get him back on the field and feel comfortable before we play a more legit of opponent. But I am going to as well go with the Cleveland Browns. I think that we should be able to handle them. Next is the Rams, Green Bay. A lot of questions whether or not Jordan Love is going to be a Green Bay Packer after this year. Green Bay is not happy. I am not shocked by this. I felt that there was a reason why they were willing to hold on to Aaron Rodgers as long as they did. I think they knew that Jordan Love really wasn't the answer, and they're finding out he's really not the answer. I'm going to now. Is that the Rams playing a different quarterback? Is their quarterback situation?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Stafford got hurt on a finger.
Who was their other quarterback? Because I saw a headline. I didn't see the actual. who the quarterback was going to be. Who would be starting in place of Stafford? I don't even know.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Let's do this. Rams. I should have read the daggone headline, or the actual, not just the headline, but the actual roster. Let's see who the Rams actual. It just took me to the same spot where I was at. Don't show me the roster. It's not what I wanted. LA Rams roster depth chart. Let's go with that. Stafford, Brett Rippin is the only thing that shows on here. But I thought they went and got somebody.
No, remember they let him, the quarterback from Georgia. He out. They got him on alcohol program. He gone. He an alcoholic. Not saying it like that, you know. He just out there, you know. He's a
Rams signed quarterback Dresser Wynn to practice squad. Darrell Henderson Jr. to active roster. So whoever Dresser Wynn is, I've never even heard. Oh, Lord, This makes this pick a little more interesting. Agree? Wow.
If Stafford don't
LA.
play, I'm going Green Bay. I'm going
LA. Jordan Love's about out the door. I got more confidence in the Rams defense, especially with Aaron Darnold out there, than I have in Green Bay right now. I give you Green Bay. I'm going to take the Rams. Washington at New England. Washington traded off Chase Young, which makes the 49ers defense a little more interesting, which makes the Washington defense a little weaker. But they are playing New England, who did surprise us. They ended up winning. Was it last week they won? Was it last week they won? Or was it the week before? They played somebody, and they unexpectedly won. I forget who they played. I was surprised they beat.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Who was it? Buffalo. Was it Buffalo?
Yeah, might have been Buffalo. Yeah, I think it was Buffalo. Yeah. But you're up first. New England home against Washington.
Now Washington, Howell put up a lot of points. I mean, put up a lot of yards and barely lost against the Eagles. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go ahead. That's hard too, man. Both defensive ends got traded. I think Ron Rivera is gonna be up out of here after this season. I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm gonna go Patriots.
We are on the same boat. I went with New England as well. Both teams are not in a great spot, but at home, I think New England might be in a little better place here. Next game up, Chicago at New Orleans. I'm going to take my chances with the Saints. Neither one of these teams have really impressed me any. I really expected more out of the Saints this year than what we've gotten so far. I don't think we was really expecting much out of Chicago, but I'm gonna take the Saints at home.
Yeah, I'm also going with the Saints. I'm going with the Saints.
This one ought to be a fun one to watch. Seattle at Baltimore. Seattle came back last week, like I said. Bad play calling. Third string quarterback, Cleveland. They came back, barely won. It was like 25-22, or I forget what the score. It was something. It was a low scoring game. In Baltimore, you got first pick. I'm gonna let you go first.
You know, I know the Seahawks only lost 2 games. You know, and they're top of their division. But I'm gonna go ahead and go Ravens. I'm gonna go Ravens.
As much as this is probably why I'm going the other direction. As much as I would love to see Baltimore lose to help keep Cleveland in the hunt for the AFC North, it's probably my wanting them to lose that was wanting me to pick Baltimore, pick Seattle, but Baltimore at home. And the fact that Seattle struggled to beat Cleveland, who play calling's not great. We're on a third-string quarterback. I just don't see Seattle having the same success against Baltimore in this game. I hope we're both wrong because we're both going to have Baltimore. But I think Baltimore Ravens are going to win this game.
Right.
Next up is Tampa Bay and Houston. It's like a roller coaster ride with these teams. Like the 1 week Tampa Bay wins, one week Tampa and Houston. It's like, even though they weren't consistently winning, you at least could count on C.J. Stroud to be consistent, which has not been necessarily the case of late. I probably going to regret this, but I think Tampa Bay, because they ain't got to worry about any weather conditions. All they got to do is all Baker Mayfield's got to do is go in and throw the ball. There's no it's a dome. There's no factors. So I'm gonna take Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay can win this one.
Wait. I think y'all got a lot of respect, for what's going down there in Houston. I'm currently gonna be flying to Texas tonight or tomorrow. So not to get off topic, but I need the Diamondbacks to win. So they play Friday night down there in Fort Worth because I'll be down there. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be in that
atmosphere. What you going to Texas for?
You know what I'm saying? Just to go chill with a good friend of mine. I'm the godfather of his daughter, and we've been friends for we're like very good friends, many years. So he just currently moved down to Texas from Detroit. So I'm just going down there, just to pop in, see the town, together, chill, come back on Monday. But I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to Houston.
And I remember what the flex was. People were upset that they didn't flex. I think it's the Monday or Sunday night game for Monday, because I see the Sunday night game, which is a really good game, and the Monday night game is not such a good game. But anyway, you picked Houston, you said?
Yeah, I picked Houston. It's gonna be another one of them weeks. Okay. Somebody's got to lose this week.
Next on the list is the Indianapolis Colts against your Carolina Panthers. Who you got?
I got Carolina. Listen, you win one, you can win two. So I'm on the boat, and I'm trying to see you win two. So I'm putting it on paper. This is how I want to see you win, and I'm putting Carolina.
I hope you brought a life preserver, because that boat's going down. I got the Indianapolis.
Somebody's going down.
Next game on the list is the Giants at Las Vegas. I don't think it really matters who's going against Las Vegas. It is such a SHI show going on there. I think even the Giants are going to look good this weekend. I'm going with New York. I can't see, because you done promoted, you done benched Jimmy Garoppolo, you're going to another quarterback, you don't have your head coach, you don't have your GM. I don't see this week being a good week. I think moving forward, maybe it might be good for the Raiders, but this week, everything happening the way it just happened, I don't see it being a good week. I can't imagine them finding a way to win this one. I'm going with the Giants.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna lean on the same. I'm going the same route too, but just seeing knowing Daniel Jones will be playing this week and how they looked against the Jets last week, gives the Raiders hope. But I think I'm going Giants. I'm going Giants too.
Sunday. Tell you what, the last two games on this list for Sunday are good games. First one is the Dallas Cowboys in Philly.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts not playing to the same level as we've seen last year. A lot more turnovers this year. Dak Prescott has owned Philadelphia. I saw a stat today. He is number 5 all-time against divisional opponents. He has won 80%. He's only 0.4% or 0.04%. It's Tom Brady's 80.4% against the NFC or the AFC East, and Dak Prescott is 80% even against the NFC East. That is the type of success he has had against the NFC in the regular season. Now, the playoffs, thank God it's not the playoffs because I definitely would pick the Cowboys. He disappears. But he's had a lot of success against the Eagles and really anybody in the NFC East. This game is I would be surprised if we don't have a fight or some kind of personal foul in this game. These teams don't like each other already, and you're talking about the potential of Dallas putting himself in a chance to be tied with Philadelphia, or Philadelphia starting to take away or starting to run away with this division. I think Dallas shows up. I think Dallas has something for the Eagles this week. I'm going to tell you're supposed to pick first. Go ahead, pick first.
I'm listening to you, and I'm following the same train that you on. I'm going Dallas also. I think this is a time. This game right here, if Dallas wins this game right here, we can forget about the 49ers game, and the fans will be right back where they were just at the beginning of the season, saying they're gonna win a Super Bowl this year. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead.
The only way that thought changes is if Dallas and 49ers end up in the playoffs together, because the Cowboys have owned it. Or I'm sorry, the 49ers have owned the Cowboys
the 49ers
as of late.
Yes, they just got their number. They just I agree.
But I agree with you on everything, though. The other good game for Sunday is Buffalo against Cincinnati. Both of these teams need this win. Cincinnati to keep pace of the North, with the Cleveland Browns being 4-3, with Baltimore being 6-2. We're not going to worry about the Steelers. They're 4-3. All of us are above 500. In order for Cincinnati to stay pace, they need this win. But Buffalo, just because they're sitting 5-3, they're not sitting pretty, because Miami's 6-2. And who would have thought without Aaron Rodgers, the Jets would have a winning record at this point? And they're going against the Los Angeles Chargers, who have not been that impressive for the Monday night game. So this is a must-win, really, for Buffalo and to keep pace for the AFC East, because the wild card picture, at least in the East and the North, look good, because we're not going to count the South, because nobody's even got a winning record except for Jacksonville in the South, and the same in the West. Kansas City sitting 6-2, everybody else a losing record. So if Buffalo and Cincinnati want a chance, especially Cincinnati, because you're looking at all the teams above 500 in the North, there's a possibility we might get 2 wild cards out of the North, and Cincinnati needs this win in order to stay in contention for that, especially with the opponents that we're seeing this week. We both think, I think Pittsburgh's going to win. We both think Cleveland's going to win. We both think Baltimore's going to win. Cincinnati needs this win, but on the flip side, Buffalo, I say all that to still not know who I think's going to win. I don't want to let my hatred or the hope that Cincinnati loses to keep Cleveland in this playoff contention to be a factor in this. But they seem to be more consistent lately than the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills kind of been up and down. It seems that Buffalo, it seems like Joe Burrow has gotten healthy, and Cincinnati looks like they're getting healthy. I'm going to take the Bengals this weekend.
Yeah, yeah, that's who I was thinking anyway. Just because Burrow, I'm not gonna lie, his last 2 games, especially last week, he was throwing some dimes and running the ball. You get what I'm saying? He was getting first downs with his legs and not sliding. So obviously he feels a little bit a lot healthier than what he felt in the beginning of the year. But I'm also going Cincinnati.
Final game on the list for this weekend, Los Angeles Chargers at the New York Jets. Who you got?
I'm gonna go ahead. You know, it's a really good story what they're doing down there with the Jets. You know, but I just don't see the Jets defense stopping the Chargers offense the whole game. You know what I mean? They may stop them a couple times, but I just don't see the Jets offense keeping up with the Chargers. So I'm going Chargers.
I'm going opposite. I think that the Jets find a way to win again. The Chargers have not impressed me at all this year. 3-4, just not what we thought or expected of the Chargers. I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on what's not right.
Yeah.
The Jets have found ways to win, even without Aaron Rodgers, and even though Zach Wilson was not a good quarterback last year. Obviously, he's learned something under the mentorship of Aaron Rodgers, and that was one of the reasons why they brought Aaron Rodgers in here. But two, it just seems that there's confidence there. They're able to win games, and I don't know. I just feel the Jets might be able to pull this one off at home, so I'm going to go with the Jets. Anything else that you think of that we need to jump into before we get out of here?
No. I just need the Diamondbacks to win tonight. I really do want to go to, you know, I really want to be in that World Series atmosphere. I know the tickets will be, you know, already bought or, you know, be overpriced, but I will be down there. And if I happen to run into a ticket, I will definitely be going. But I want the Diamondbacks to win tonight bad.
All right. I got nothing to throw out there. Let them know where they can find you real quick, and I'll throw a few things out there, and we'll wrap up.
All right. That'll work. You can like us on Facebook and Instagram at Carolina Sports Plus. You can catch us online at CarolinaSportsPlus.com. We're going to be dropping a lot of new merchandise, a lot of good prices next week. So definitely keep the lookout for that. But check us out.
Don't forget, you guys can check us out at the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network.com. Our shows, our blogs, videos, everything going on at the 110 Nation. You guys can check it out there. Also, all the different platforms, there's tabs to get you there. If it's iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, you name it, we are there. Just an easier way to get there. But however you listen to your podcast, just Google us or search us, the 110 Nation or the 110 Nation Sports Radio Network, and pull us up, follow us that way. Facebook, the 110 Nation. Make sure you give us a like. Follow us on Twitter at 110 Nation. Tomorrow night, Safety to Success. Jared Hudson have a couple different drivers on. Talk safety, talk racing. I am in the championship Final Four for this weekend's NASCAR race. I picked Denny Hamlin. So to all those out there listening to the show, pull for Denny Hamlin this weekend. I'm a Denny Hamlin fan, but he is one of the last 3 winners at Phoenix for the championship race. All I got to do is finish better than the other 3 in the top 4, and I win the pool this year. So it's been a long, interesting season. Looking forward to expanding next year. We have a lot of people that are wanting to join our NASCAR pool next year, so looking forward to that. looking forward to having Jay Spearman in the studio next week. Probably have him in about 8:10 to about 8:30. Talk some NBA, get you guys caught up on the first couple weeks of the NBA. And then, of course, Mario and myself will take over and hit all the big topics, big headlines, and then get our picks in and everything else. You guys have a great week. Until next week.